Hele mai ke olo olo oe e ho'i mai kuipo. And it's breakfast with Bob. Chee-hoo.
Thank you, Poncho Man. Welcome, everybody. Breakfast with Bob, St. George edition. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spa, Zion's Bank, Quintana Roo, Form Smart Swim, Goggles, Clash Endurance, Premium Plus Sports, and of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Young man I have not had a chance to meet before. Mr. Matt Burton joins us. Matt, how you doing?
Good, Bob. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you taking time. So 2022, fifth at Challenge Shepparton. 2021, winning Ironman Western Australia, 51:31 for the swim, 4:14:12, 2:50:48, 8:01:22. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, we've been locked away in Australia for a while, Bob, so it was nice after a couple of years hiatus to get an Ironman in, and fortunate to win my first. So.
And now did that get you here?
That got me to October.
Oh, so this
one's
already
from
here.
2019. Yeah.
Oh, that's from 2019 when you won Western Australia.
I was second. Yeah.
You were second there, and you won 7:55.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're the last two.
So take me back to just getting into the sport, because you didn't get into it until 21 years old?
Yeah. I was well past school. It was probably more of an obsession with fitness.
Yeah.
And then I had a friend buy me an entry to a extremely short race. Back on Australia Day at home. It's quite a iconic little short race at one of the local races in WA, and I just became hooked. And by the end of that year, I did an Ironman, and then I raced age group for 3 years and had a bit of success as an age grouper. And
right.
It's all led to here, I guess.
Well, yeah. Kona 2010, 11, and 12. That was an age, or not? You were age group 2009 to 12. Yeah. In Kona 18-24, won your age group in 2011, 12. When you turned pro in 2013, is that a little bit of a wake-up call?
Yeah, it all come crashing down, didn't it?
Because you're like, hey, my times are sort of like theirs.
Yeah.
And then what? Then you start going, oh my God, these guys are fast.
Yeah, I just overtrained then. I think I took a pro license and I was like, I need to do 40 hours a week. But I was at an age where I wasn't ready for
40 hours a week?
Yeah, it's a full-time job, right? You come from a working-class family. You watch mum and dad go to work for those sort of hours. So I was like, well, if this is what I'm doing as a job, and if I'm a professional athlete, I'll let it consume me. And yeah, I just I broke down and kept trying to push through it, and I was, I guess, misdiagnosed with a couple of things, which led to a greater injury with structurally. So it took me a while to find my feet.
I was going to say, from 2014 to 17, you were pretty much dealing with that.
Yeah. I'd have a glimpse every now and again of a bit of success, and then the next 6 months I'd struggle with it again. So it's in the past now. Yeah,
but during COVID, married Kim, 5-month-old son Tom. How much? How does that impact in terms of your training with just having your little guy there every time you come home?
Yeah, he's it brings perspective to life, right?
Right.
I think this sport, especially, when you're racing for 8 hours, the training volume and load is so great, you become consumed by it on all aspects.
Right.
And it took me so long to win a race, and it was nice to be at home, but we actually had, my little boy's name's Tom. He came the week of Ironman in WA, so he was 5 days before it. So that week was very different for me from a race week point of view, but I think it was the nicest distraction possible. And, I didn't really think about the race until it was probably midway through it. Yeah. And, it's lovely. It was very hard to leave. I've been here now for 3 weeks, so not that he's, he recognised me enough now, but we're so fortunate these days with FaceTime.
Yes.
I was sort of talking to mum back home, and I was like, when dad was travelling for work way back, like it was just, see you kids, I'll see you when I get back. Whereas I get to see him every day, so
that's very
it's lovely,
cool.
yeah.
So being here for 3 weeks, what were your impressions of the course?
Yeah, I was here before when you were talking to you had Dave on the show, Dave McNamee, and I just think it's definitely not sub 8. Sorry, Dave.
I know, I'm watching that going, so he's going to 235,
if the wind blows,
235 marathon, and it'll be sub 8.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been here long enough to train, I guess, and you saw the Norwegians have been here for a little while, and a couple of the other boys, and they're doing some course recce's, and they're lightening up on the bike. But like everyone knows that's been in sport for so long, race simulations and training days are very different to the real thing. So it looks great on paper, looks great on Strava, but I've had a few days out there where the wind really blew, and coming out of the climb up to Vail and then also up to Snow Canyon, and even coming back along the lake into those. If it's that wind direction, it's so slow.
Yeah.
And so not only is it slow on the bike, but then it's also going to eat away at the runability.
And it's a lot more energy.
And it's the downhills of the run which is going to trash everyone's legs. So that's everyone's worried about the uphill, but you can only run uphill so fast. It's the impact on the legs on the downhill. So look, if someone goes that fast, they'll win by a long way.
What are your goals here?
It took me so long to get here. I guess I just want to outperform my last performance. So, whether that's I was driven by results for so long, and I'm a bit older now and you're mature with the sport, right? So, I guess for me, I just want to. We all look at power data these days and run pace, but it's very much about feel this time. I just want to make myself proud and happy of the time I go. And time's really irrelevant. It's sort of like the positions will tread themselves out. But I just think it's, Kona's a hard course, but the road's so lovely. Whereas the roads here are, they give you nothing. It reminds me of home. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Chip and seal type of stuff.
Yeah, it really is. And it changes a lot. And the surface, it's a lot of false flats. So it's super exciting because it's more of a war of attrition than it is just a speed-based race.
Yeah. I think that nobody's really out of it.
Not at all.
Yeah,
no.
I don't care where you come out of the water.
Yeah.
It's not over.
No. It's,
with all this climbing and all the wind and all the tactics that are going to come into play.
Yeah, the quickest it seems like guys are getting around the course, and I sort of went around it quite quickly, is around that 4:30. So, Cam will come here and ride well, and, I'm sure he'll probably run well. Worthy's a great athlete, so it's, he'll set the benchmark there. But it's still, I just think it's going to be a longer day than normal.
So when you go through what you went through with your back, and you're at that point, you don't know if you're going to be able to come back. Really, what were the doctors telling you?
Oh yeah, I probably gave up 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
I did a few summers in Europe, and every time I went home, I was selling my gear on the way home.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you were like, I'm done.
Oh yeah, it's consuming me. You have nothing financially. The sport's not cheap, especially when you start it from a relatively young age. So you can lean on sponsors for so long, and then you have to realise you put so much effort into something. If there's not reward, my parents were probably that sounding board. Like it's, something's got to give. You want to. What
was the race that basically kept you in it?
Yeah, so I come home from Europe in 2018, and then I'd had to pull out of a race in Sweden, so I sort of chased the Kona qualification. I missed by a spot in 3 events.
Oh my God.
And then I went to Sweden, and I ended up on the side of the road with just my back giving me grief. I just overdone it for the year. And I come home, and my mother-in-law was like, just relax and train for Busselton. And that was it for me. I was like, nah, it's...
You weren't even thinking about it?
I was coming home it was time to do something else maybe.
And really, mother-in-law should have been like, listen, you
better
go get a real job.
Yeah, look after my daughter, right?
Exactly.
But so I trained for Busselton, and I said to my wife, I was like, if I can't get up amongst the pointy end, we'll do something else next year. And I was third behind Terenzo and Cam. They broke the course record at the time, which has since been broken again, but I went 8:07, and it was the quickest I'd gone over the distance, and I just felt like, that's a bit of reward for effort there.
Right.
And then it went on from there, really. It was, another year where I've chased the Kona qualifications, and it wasn't until the end of the next year at home I got it against Brownlee, but...
Yes, and you got to go against the two-time gold medalist.
He flew to WA. Here comes the WA.
Yeah.
But he smashed the course record that year, and I broke 8, which was the first time I'd gone into a race where I wasn't consumed by time.
Yeah.
It was more about just perform. I'm able to train at Busselton, which is where the race is, because we live about 2.5 hours from it. So I know it well enough, which is, home ground advantage always helps. That's why it's hard coming to America, right?
Exactly.
But it was, he went 7:45 and I went 55, so he still put me away by a fair bit, but, breaking 8's what
That's what matters.
That's what matters.
That puts you on the map,
yeah,
right?
that's it. And I qualified, and
Love
here
it.
we are, 2.5 years later.
And the finish line is right behind us. Matt, have yourself a great one
Thanks,
on
Bob.
Saturday.
Thanks very much.
Matt Burton has been our guest. Poncho Man, take us out.
Aole, a hila hila. Hone hone, aole plikia. Aole, a hila hila. And it's Breakfast with Bob. Cheers.
Thank you, Poncho Man. Hold on, everybody. We will be right back.